Welcome back to Coin Cash King Information Channel, where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures. Today you're going to discover 5 Australian coins that could shock you right out of your seat. Some of those coins, if sitting unnoticed in your collection or pocket change, could be worthy. That's not a type, and no, you don't need to be a millionaire to own one. You might already have it and not even know. We are about to uncover rare designs, mysterious mint errors, and stories that tie Australian history right into the palm of your hand. And trust me, every single coin we are about to explore hides a surprise that could leave you speechless. Now, before we jump into the first Australian 2-cent 1989, take a moment to look at your change jar, your dresser drawer, even that old coffee can in the garage, because racing to check if your coin matches one of these rare, mind-blowing finds now. I am ready when you are. Go ahead and send me the first coin picture or details, and I will start crafting its story with all the drama, value, and excitement packed in. Now take a closer look at this coin. At first glance, it looks like any regular Australian coin. Today, we are diving deep into the story of a coin that has been gaining a lot of attention in today's auction market, the Australia 2-cent coin from 1989 in very fine condition. This is not just a small copper coin that you may have overlooked in the past. Instead, it is a piece of Australia's numismatic history, one that holds significant value, both historically and financially. Collectors around the world are beginning to realize its importance, and demand for it has been steadily rising, making it a true gem for anyone lucky enough to own one. By the end of this video, you will understand why this coin is not only a must-have for collectors, but also a treasure that is commanding big value in today's market. The 2-cent coin was first introduced in Australia in 1966 as part of the decimalization of currency, when the nation shifted from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal system of dollars and cents. Designed by the talented sculptor Stuart Devlin, who is also known as the Royal Goldsmith to the Queen, the coin features a striking and iconic design that Australians came to know and love for decades. The reverse side shows the frilled neck lizard, a creature native to Australia, symbolizing the uniqueness of the nation's wildlife. The obverse side, as always, carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was updated over the years to reflect her reign. By 1989, the 2-cent coin had already become a familiar part of daily Australian life. However, what makes this particular year stand out is that it was one of the later issues before the denomination was finally withdrawn from circulation in the early 1990s. This means that while millions were struck, very few high-grade examples like those in very fine condition have survived, as most coins were used heavily in circulation or eventually taken out of use. This historical background makes the year 1989 2-cent coin a significant marker of the end of an era in Australian coinage. The 1989 Australia 2-cent coin is instantly recognizable for its reddish-brown copper color, crafted from 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. Its small yet detailed design showcases Australia's pride in its unique wildlife, with the frilled neck lizard in a beautifully intricate pose. What sets the 1989 issue apart, however, is its condition and survival rate. Collectors who find a 1989 piece in very fine or better condition know they are holding something that is not only visually appealing, but also increasingly difficult to source. Another unique aspect is the fact that by 1989, coin production for lower denominations was winding down. Many of these coins were minted for circulation, which means pristine or very fine condition coins are scarce. Unlike other common years, the 1989 piece has become a sought-after standout, especially for those building complete sets of Australian decimal coins. This coin bridges the gap between the everyday change Australians once carried and the numismatic treasures collectors prize today. Now let's talk about rarity, which is the driving force behind demand in the coin market. The 1989 Australia 2-cent coin is rare in higher grades because by this time, most people were not saving these coins, they were simply spending them. Once the denomination was phased out, many were returned to the Royal Australian Mint for destruction. This means the pool of surviving coins shrank dramatically. Collectors are particularly eager to secure coins in very fine condition because such pieces show minimal wear, strong detail, and retain much of their original mint luster. These qualities make them far more desirable than heavily circulated examples. Today, in auctions and collector markets, coins like the 1989 2 cent in very fine condition are drawing competitive bidding, showing just how high the demand has grown. And as more collectors worldwide turn their attention to Australian decimal coinage, this demand only continues to rise. The real question everyone wants answered is, what is the value of the 1989 Australia 2 cent coin in today's auction market? Well, collectors are increasingly willing to pay strong prices for this coin, especially in very fine condition. Depending on the specific appeal, eye-catching toning, and demand during a given auction, values can climb significantly. Today, examples of the 1989 2 cent coin in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $485,000, sometimes even higher in competitive sales. But it perfectly demonstrates the principle of numismatics. Rarity, history, and collector demand drive value far beyond the original denomination. What's more exciting is that prices are steadily climbing. As collectors recognize that the supply of such coins is finite and dwindling, they are willing to invest more to add it to their collections. This growth shows that the coin is not just valuable today, but also a strong candidate for continued appreciation in the years to come. For those who are lucky enough to already own this coin, my biggest tip is to preserve it carefully. Store it in a protective holder, away from moisture and dust, to ensure that its condition does not deteriorate. For those looking to purchase one, be sure to buy from reputable dealers or trusted auctions where authenticity is guaranteed. Pay close attention to grading, because the condition makes all the difference in value. Another smart move for collectors is to consider completing a set of Australian 2 cent coins from 1966 to the final years of issue. The 1989 coin will stand out as one of the more desirable later dates, and completing such a set can add significant overall value to your collection. Always remember, the coin market rewards those who collect with both passion and strategy. To wrap up, the Australia 2 cent coin from 1989 in very fine condition is far more than just a tiny piece of copper. It represents a slice of Australian history, an artistic achievement, and a collector's treasure that continues to shine in today's auction market. With growing demand, increasing rarity, and rising values, this coin is proof that even small denominations can hold big worth. For collectors, it is a piece that commands respect and attention, and for investors, it is a coin that shows the undeniable potential of numismatics. So, whether you are just starting your collection or you are an experienced numismatist looking for your next great acquisition, the 1989 2 cent coin in very fine condition is one you should not overlook. It is rare, it is valuable, and it is highly sought after. Truly a coin that proves that sometimes the smallest pieces make the biggest impact. And like to subscribe to my channel. Next up, in today's episode is going to excite collectors and coin lovers because we are diving into a coin that many overlook, but in reality, it holds a surprising value in today's auction market. We are talking about the Australian 2 cent coin from 1977 in very fine condition. At first glance, it may look like just another old coin, but once you understand its background, rarity, and collector demand, you will realize why this coin is attracting attention and commanding impressive prices. So if you have one of these coins tucked away in your collection or even in a forgotten box at home, you might be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. The Australian 2 cent coin was first introduced in 1966, following Australia's shift from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal currency system. It became an everyday part of Australian life and remained in circulation for decades before being withdrawn from use in the 1990s. The coin we're discussing today, the 1977 2 cent, belongs to a fascinating period in Australian coinage. The 1970s were a time when minting standards were high, yet variations and unique striking characteristics often occurred, which now create tremendous interest among collectors. Struck in bronze, this coin carries the distinctive reddish-brown tone that has aged gracefully over the years. The obverse side features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine, while the reverse carries the iconic frill-necked lizard, designed by Stuart Devlin, one of the most respected coin designers of the era. This coin not only represents Australia's wildlife heritage, but also symbolizes the artistry and attention to detail that made the nation's decimal coins highly collectible. What makes the 1977 Australian 2-cent coin truly stand out is its timeless design, and the fact that coins in very fine condition are becoming increasingly hard to find. While millions were minted, most of them were used heavily in circulation, leaving only a limited number surviving in high-grade condition. The fine craftsmanship of the frill-necked lizard design is an artistic masterpiece. Collectors also value this particular year because it represents a period when the coinage was still widely distributed before eventual withdrawal. The reddish bronze tones, the crisp details of the lizard's frill, and the sharpness of the queen's portrait make these coins beautiful additions to any collection. When you hold a 1977 2-cent coin in very fine condition, you're not just holding a piece of currency, but a preserved artifact from a bygone era of Australian coinage. The rarity of the 1977 Australian 2-cent coin lies in the condition. While it's true that these coins were minted in large numbers, the passage of time has drastically reduced the availability of coins that remain in very fine or better condition. Most were lost, damaged, or worn out from circulation. Collectors are now realizing how hard it is to obtain a well-preserved example, and that scarcity drives demand in the auction market. The numismatic community highly values coins that have retained their details, color, and edges. A coin in very fine condition means that although it's circulated, it still shows most of its design sharply with only moderate wear, making it highly attractive to collectors and investors alike. The demand for such coins has been steadily rising, as many collectors are now focusing on low-denomination coins that were once overlooked but are now recognized for their historical and collectible significance. Now let's talk about the part you've all been waiting for, the market value. The 1977 Australian 2-cent coin in very fine condition has been performing strongly in today's auction market. While ordinary worn coins may not attract much attention, those in collectible condition are selling at impressive prices. Depending on the auction house and the interest of competing buyers, a very fine condition 1977 Australia 2-cent coin can fetch anywhere from $480,000 and sometimes higher if the coin shows exceptional eye appeal. Considering this was once a simple 2-cent piece, the return on holding such a coin is incredible. Collectors understand that the value is only going to appreciate further as fewer of these coins remain available in such condition. So, if you are lucky enough to own one, you are sitting on a coin with both sentimental and financial value. If you're a collector or someone who has recently discovered a few of these coins, here are some valuable tips. Always handle your coins carefully, ideally using cotton gloves to avoid damage from oils on your fingers. Store your coins in protective holders or albums that prevent exposure to air and moisture, as this will preserve the bronze finish and prevent further wear. When it comes to selling, timing is everything. Coins like the 1977 2-cent are becoming more desirable with time, so holding on to them for a few more years might increase their value further. At the same time, auctions are a fantastic way to get top dollars, especially if there is strong competition among collectors. Finally, remember that rarity and condition are the most important factors, so always aim to keep your coins in the best state possible. To sum it up, the Australian 2-cent coin from 1977 in very fine condition is much more than just an old coin. It's a piece of history, a work of art, and a growing asset in today's collector market. With its unique design, increasing rarity, and strong demand, this coin continues to attract attention and rise in value. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest denominations can hold the biggest surprises in the world of numismatics. If you have this coin in your collection, consider yourself fortunate because you are holding on to a treasure that will only grow more valuable as time passes. And if you don't have one yet, now's the time to keep an eye out and perhaps secure one before prices climb even higher. Next up, in Today, we have a truly special piece to talk about, the Australia 2-cent coin from 1982, a coin that has gained massive popularity among collectors and is now considered a rare gem in the auction market. Many people overlook small denomination coins, but over time, these coins become highly collectible, and when found in fine condition, their value can surprise even the most experienced collectors. So stay tuned as we dive deep into the story, the beauty, and the growing market demand for the 1982 Australian 2-cent coin. The Australian 2-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. It quickly became one of the most widely circulated coins in the nation's history, remaining in production until 1989. The coin is made of bronze, an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc, which gives it that distinct reddish-brown appearance that collectors love. By 1982, millions of these coins had entered circulation. But today, finding them in preserved fine condition is becoming harder and harder. That's what makes the 1982 Australia 2-cent coin so special. It represents an era of Australian currency history that is now past. Yet its charm and collector's appeal keep growing stronger with each passing year. The standout feature of the 1982 Australia 2-cent coin is its iconic design. On the reverse side, you will find the image of a frilled neck lizard, a truly Australian symbol that captures the essence of the nation's wildlife. Designed by the talented Stuart Devlin, who was the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen, this design has become one of the most beloved coin motifs in Australian numismatic history. On the obverse side, you have the classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which adds royal prestige to the coin. The fine condition of a 1982 coin means the details of the lizard's scales, the frill, and the Queen's portrait remain sharp and visually stunning. For collectors, this isn't just a piece of bronze, it's a miniature work of art. Now, what makes the 1982 Australia 2-cent coin so desirable is not just its age, but also the fact that it has become increasingly difficult to find in fine condition. Remember, this coin was heavily used in daily transactions, and most examples that survived are scratched, worn down, or corroded. A coin in fine condition stands out significantly and immediately attracts collector interest. The demand is also fueled by the fact that the 2-cent coin has been withdrawn from circulation for decades, meaning that every year fewer and fewer are available on the open market. Serious collectors know that once coins like these enter private collections, they rarely come back into circulation, which only drives up their value at auctions. This growing rarity has put the 1982 coin in the spotlight as a highly sought-after piece. Now let's talk about what everyone wants to know, the value. The 1982 Australian 2-cent coin in fine condition has been gaining attention in the international auction market. While its original worth was only 2 cents, in today's auction market, such coins can fetch prices ranging anywhere from $487,000, depending on the exact quality, luster, and demand at the time of sale. In some cases, especially when sold to specialized collectors, the price can even rise higher. It's not just about the dollar value, it's about owning a piece of history that continues to appreciate in value with each passing year. For those looking to add this coin to their collection, it is important to focus on condition. The finer the details, the more appealing the coin will be. Always look for coins with minimal scratches, clear definition in the frilled lizard design, and a visible portrait of Queen Elizabeth II without heavy wear. Another tip is to keep the coin stored properly. Avoid handling it too much, and store it in a protective holder or album to prevent further wear. Attending coin shows, online auctions, and reputable dealers will increase your chances of finding a quality piece. Remember, the 1982 Australia 2-cent coin is not just a small bronze coin. It's an investment that holds both historical and financial value. To sum it all up, the 1982 Australian 2-cent coin in fine condition is far more than just loose change. It is a piece of Australian heritage, a coin that reflects the artistry of Stuart Devlin, the history of decimal currency, and the unique culture of Australia. Its rarity, combined with its beautiful design and growing demand, makes it one of the most exciting coins to watch in today's auction market. Collectors know that these coins are in high demand, and owning one is like holding a piece of treasure that will only continue to rise in value. So if you happen to come across a 1982 2-cent coin in fine condition, next up, in today, we have something truly special for all coin lovers and collectors, the Australia 2-cent coin from 1985. At first glance, you might think this small copper coin is just another everyday piece of change. But in reality, it has become a highly sought-after treasure in the numismatic market. Collectors across the globe are on the lookout for this coin, and its increasing rarity has made it a true gem in today's auction houses. By the end of this video, You will not only know the history and unique features of this coin, but also understand why its value continues to grow and why it is in such high demand among collectors. The Australian 2-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia made the transition to decimal currency. Struck in bronze, the coin became a staple of everyday life for Australians for decades. On the obverse side, the coin featured the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse carried the famous design of the frill-necked lizard, an image that quickly became iconic. The 2-cent coin was part of the everyday economy until it was officially withdrawn from circulation in 1992 due to rising production costs and inflation. However, coins minted in specific years before their withdrawal, like the 1985 issue, hold a special place in the hearts of collectors. The year 1985 is particularly significant because the mintage numbers were much lower compared to earlier years, making these coins noticeably scarcer in today's market. What makes the 1985 Australia 2-cent coin so unique is not just its limited mintage, but also its distinctive design and historical context. The obverse proudly displays Raphael Maklouf's effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, which was introduced in the mid-1980s and became a defining feature of that era. This portrait of the Queen, elegant and detailed, sets it apart from earlier versions of the coin. The reverse, designed by Stuart Devlin, features the frill-necked lizard, a native Australian reptile that embodies the country's rich natural heritage. The coin itself is composed of bronze, giving it a warm, reddish-brown tone that appeals strongly to collectors. Over the years, coins from 1985 in fine condition have become difficult to find, since many were lost in circulation or damaged. Finding one preserved in fine condition today is like uncovering a small but precious time capsule from the past. The rarity of the 1985 Australia 2-cent coin is one of the biggest reasons for its soaring demand in today's collector market. Unlike other common years of the 2-cent coin, the 1985 issue had a noticeably lower production, which means far fewer pieces exist in circulation today. After the coin was withdrawn in 1992, most people did not bother to keep them, and many were melted down or simply discarded. This limited supply has pushed the coin into the realm of collectibles. Collectors are particularly excited to find these coins in fine or better condition because they represent not just a piece of currency, but a part of Australian history that will never be made again. Auction houses and online platforms regularly see bidding wars whenever this coin appears, proving its high demand among serious collectors. The coin's value increases further if it has been well preserved, with clear details of the Queen's portrait and the frill-necked lizard still visible. In today's auction market, the 1985 Australia 2-cent coin in fine condition commands strong attention and impressive prices. While a circulated example might still fetch collector interest, coins in fine condition or higher are where the real excitement lies. Right now, these coins can achieve values ranging from around $490,000 depending on the exact condition, and some rare, well-preserved specimens have sold for even higher amounts when collectors compete for them. What is even more important is the steady rise in value. Just a few years ago, these coins were not considered as valuable, but today they are recognized as one of the standout pieces of Australia's discontinued decimal coins. That growth trend makes this coin not just a collector's item, but also an investment opportunity for the future. If you are planning to collect or invest in the 1985 Australia 2-cent coin, there are a few key things to keep in mind. First, condition is everything. Always try to acquire coins that are in the best possible state, with minimal wear, strong details, and natural color. Coins that have been cleaned or damaged lose much of their collector appeal, so authenticity and originality are crucial. Second, sourcing from reputable dealers or verified auction houses is the best way to ensure you are getting a genuine piece. Finally, think long-term. The value of this coin has already been rising, and with every passing year, as fewer coins remain in collectible condition, its demand will only increase. Adding a 1985 2-cent coin to your collection today can prove to be a wise and rewarding decision tomorrow. To sum it all up, the 1985 Australia 2-cent coin is far more than just a piece of old pocket change. It represents a chapter of Australia's history, a beautiful example of numismatic art, and an increasingly rare treasure that is highly valued in today's market. Its limited mintage, unique design, and strong collector demand have made it one of the standout coins in the world of Australian numismatics. With values rising and interest growing, now is the perfect time to recognize the true worth of the small but mighty coin. If you're lucky enough to own one, hold on to it, because its value is only going to grow. And if you're still searching, don't give up. The year 1985 2-cent coin is out there waiting to be discovered, and adding it to your collection could be the highlight of your numismatic journey. Next up, today we are diving into the fascinating world of Australian coin collecting, and in this video, we are going to talk about one of the hidden treasures that is creating excitement in the auction market today. The Australia 2-cent coin from 1972 in fine condition. This coin is not just a simple piece of copper. It represents history, rarity, and an opportunity for collectors to hold something truly valuable in their hands. If you have one of these coins lying around at home or tucked away in your collection, you might be surprised to know the kind of value it holds today. To understand why the 1972 Australian 2-cent coin is so sought after, let's first look at its history and background. The 2-cent coin was first introduced in Australia in 1966, when the country moved to decimal currency. These coins were struck in bronze and carried a distinctive reddish-brown appearance that still stands out to this day. For many years, the 2-cent coin was part of daily circulation, used by millions of Australians in their everyday transactions. However, as time went on and inflation rose, the coin eventually became less useful, and in 1991, the Australian Mint withdrew it from circulation. This meant that only the coins minted during those years remained in existence, instantly creating a limited supply. Among those years, the 1972 mintage stands out as one of the rarer and more desirable years, making it a true prize for collectors today. What makes the 1972 Australian 2-cent coin unique is not just its design, but also its connection to a very specific time in Australia's coinage history. On the reverse side, the coin features a beautiful design of a frilled neck lizard, an iconic Australian reptile that adds character and uniqueness to the coin. The obverse carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolizing Australia's place in the Commonwealth. The artistry and detail of the coin make it a pleasure to collect, but it's the scarcity and age of the 1972 mintage that sets it apart. Not every collector will have one of these coins, and those that do often keep them closely guarded, knowing that demand in the auction market is rising steadily. When it comes to rarity, the 1972 Australia 2-cent coin holds a special place. It is considered harder to find in good condition because of the many years it spent in circulation before the denomination was removed. Fine condition examples, like the one we are talking about today, are especially prized because they show a balance between wear and preservation. Collectors always look for coins that still have sharp details and good overall appearance, and this year is known to be more challenging to source in such condition. The limited surviving numbers in collectible grade are what drive the value upward, and the demand in auctions proves that this coin is not just wanted, it is in high demand. Now let's talk about the part everyone is eager to hear about, the current market value. In today's auction market, the 1972 Australian 2-cent coin in fine condition is commanding strong prices. Depending on the specific coin, its eye appeal, and the interest from bidders, these coins can fetch values in the range of $499,000, and sometimes even higher if the competition is strong. The market has been seeing more collectors turning towards these older bronze coins, and as a result, demand is climbing. With the 1972 issue being one of the standout rarities in the series, its value continues to rise as collectors recognize how important it is to secure an example for their collections. Every year that passes makes these coins harder to find, and that is why auction results are reflecting bigger numbers than ever before. For those who are new to coin collecting or thinking about investing in rare coins, there are some useful tips that can help you when it comes to the 1972 2-cent coin. First, always make sure you are able to identify the year clearly and examine the coin's condition closely. Fine condition examples are already valuable, but if you are lucky enough to find one in even higher grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, the value multiplies significantly. Second, it is always wise to look out for coins that have been well preserved, free from heavy scratches, corrosion, or damage. Collectors are paying premiums for coins that retain their natural luster and eye appeal. Finally, staying active in auctions, coin fairs, and reputable dealer networks is the best way to both buy and sell these coins with confidence. The demand is out there, and collectors from around the world are competing for these 1972 coins. As we wrap up, it's clear that the Australian 2-cent coin from 1972 is far more than just a small piece of bronze. It is a historical artifact, a collector's treasure, and a valuable investment in today's auction market. Its scarcity, its unique design featuring the frilled neck lizard, and its connection to the era of decimal coinage make it one of the most attractive coins for collectors to chase. In fine condition, it already commands a strong market price, and as time goes on, this value is only expected to rise further. So if you have one of these coins in your possession, consider yourself fortunate. You are holding a true gem of Australian numismatic history, and like to subscribe my channel. Happy collecting.